Hi, everyone. I'm a little bit early. This is my very first live. I don't know who's going to show up. I always get hot even when I do my videos that aren't live, but this is my very first one, and I'm going to give it a couple of minutes because I did chime in early. And so let's give it a few minutes. And right now I'm hot. I had to turn on the air and it's like almost 80 degrees. And the other night I had to almost turn on the heat, but I didn't. Okay, welcome to my first live. Now, if you follow me, you might have seen within the past week or so that I was going to change my YouTube name to Hot Coffee and Hot Topics Media. But I decided to stay with my name that I've had for almost 10 years, which is Shimmer Girl Talks. But I still might add like maybe media at the end, but they won't let me because they only give you every 14 days to change your name. So today's topic, only because I had another topic in mind, but I'm going to do that at a later date. So the only reason why I'm talking about the 50-50 topic right now is because it's still coming up. Every now and then I'm online and I'm reading, you know, Black women's comments about only Black men require the 50-50. And I'm going to share my opinion about that. So hopefully you guys can hear me. So let me know in the comments if you can hear me or not, or if I sound echoey. Again, this is my first live, so please bear with me. Please bear with me. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe be all over the place only because I made notes. I want to make sure that I get all of my thoughts out. And I know the 50-50 topic is a topic that's been done to death, and it's a dead horse that's been revived and beat again. But it's a topic, it's a current topic, so I'm going to chime in. So again, I'm going to rely on my notes, so I might be all over the place. So the first thing that I wanted to say is, how are these men raised? And if you know my content, typically I do come down on the women more so because A, I am a woman. And number two, it is our responsibility to set the tone of our homes and nest properly before we even have children. So we have to pay attention to the fact that a lot of the men who are quote unquote going 50-50 with these women, there are a lot of levels to this. Number one, he might have saw his mother doing it all because she is a strong, independent, don't need a man woman. And a lot of these men see their mother with various boyfriends over the years, giving her a little bit of change. And then she's doing whatever it takes to, take care of her family. So we have to consider that. That's what a lot of men are seeing. My second point is our community does not have a husband wife standard. And I've shared this before online. I said that hi Mona D, they won't let the 50-50 debate die, yet other races, cultures do it, aren't online debating about it. So, but they take your time. Thank you. And welcome to, whoever might be chiming in. So we don't have a husband wife standard. And so, literally, just today, I saw a woman on a Kevin Samuels, Kendra G forum say what the men of other races are doing. And I'm telling you, I don't know why we as a race of women don't get it. Those other races of women instill into their sons and daughters to be husband wife minded. We don't do that in our community as a collective. Let's be honest. We do not. And so I wanted to add a little bit more to that. So, but I'm gonna, like I said, I made notes, so I'm gonna get to that. So my third point was you have a lot of women who put the cart before the horse. And what I mean by that is they'll have children with the men that they are most sexually attracted to. He's got the swag, he's got his pants sagging. We used to call them roughnecks back then. Today they call them pookies and ray rays. But when I was younger, they were called roughnecks. That's what the women liked. I never did, but that's what a lot of women liked. So you have women who will have children with this man over there and then expect the man who's been about his business, who's made the right choices in his life. Then these women expect those men to come pick up the slack for the men that they willingly chose to just lay up and knock them up. And I mention this all the time on the Kendra G show. You notice a lot of those women on the Kendra G dating show, they were never in relationships with the men that they ultimately have children with. They admit that out of their own mouths. Kendra G had a 38-year-old woman on her show one day who, by her own admission, had never been in a relationship. She had 2 children, though, but she never been in a relationship. So you have women who have these, well, other race men do this, that, and the other. But are the women in their races putting themselves in positions to be a wife and taken care of? And I'm going to go a little bit ahead of myself. Again, the Kendra G, Kevin Samuels forum that I belong to on Facebook. Those women be fighting me tooth and nail when I say get married first, then have your children. Don't no other race of women fight me on that except the women that look like me. And every now and then there'll be a woman of another race, because she's a single mother, she'll jump into the fray. But it don't affect them the way it affects us. And I don't care about them. I'm talking to us. And so that's number 4. Women fight against traditionalism. And as I said in an upcoming video, same site that I belong to on Facebook, you have gay men who are jumping into all of this. I had this gay guy tell me that me telling women to be traditional, to be a wife, to get out of the sisterhood, to get away from feminism, he told me that was dangerous for me to tell them that. So I want to ask the question right here and now. How is the sisterhood and feminism helping you ladies out right now? Put it in the description box. Tell me how the feminism and the sisterhood is helping you in regards to acquiring a husband and keeping a husband. Number 5, I was going to do a separate video on that. What's her name? That King of Queens, that Rose lady. She's got the white husband who is later found out that she was footing the bills for everything. And he told her, put it online. See, he's playing the long game. And she was dumb and fell for it. So she's telling the whole world and the judge, if they ever do decide to divorce, that she's been the one that's been paying for everything. And I remember seeing a post that she put out. I don't follow them, but I remember a post that I saw because I said I was going to do my own commentary on them. She put in that post, this man, Captain Save-A-Hold her. So she's admitting that she is a garden tool. And I don't get why these men think that they turn garden tools into wife material. Same thing with these women who pick the roughnecks and the pookies and thinking that he's going to turn into husband material. Knowing that he's got illegitimate children all over the place, but you think you're going to redeem him and turn him into a real husband. Number 6, I did a video on the blue collar man. And there's this misconception that blue collar men, okay, no. You have a lot of women who want to bypass the blue collar man to get a so-called higher caliber man when you can get what you want from a blue collar man. Do y'all know how many? Someone is telling me to look up. Oh, just hookup. Oh, just hookups. Yeah. Wow. I know who you're talking about. Women are wives before ring, wedding, and nuptials. Thank you, Mona D. Thank you so much. And so anyway, I did a video, like I said, on the blue collar men. Do y'all know how many black women, women that look like me, who were wives first? I can think of maybe one or two who weren't wives first. They were baby mamas when they, lucked up and got a good man. But the most of the women that I know who ended up with a blue collar man, they got to be stay-at-home wives and mothers, mostly mothers. They got to be a stay-at-home mother. Once they had their children, they got to be stay-at-home mothers. The men would go out and work 2 jobs if they had to. You know what I mean? To keep her at home. And you have black women thinking that black women don't get this, and that's not true. Not true, not true. Because what's happening with a lot of the women out here is they're, as I always say, they're having children with this man over here, and then she expects that man over there to come in and pick up the pieces. And that man is like, why should I have to pay 100% for you when you didn't even require that of the man that you gave your greatest gift to? Didn't Kevin Samuels used to say that? Giving your womb is one of the greatest things that you can give to a man, particularly the man that honored you enough to make him his wife. And I don't think a lot of women understand the importance of being a wife, because I'm hearing, reading stories online about women who, I went to the hospital by myself to have my baby and this, that, and the other. I can't even fathom that. When one of my aunties had her baby, this was 25 years ago, it was her first kid. She said she was the only woman in the maternity ward with a husband. When I was pregnant, and you all, if you follow my content, my husband and I, we lost our child. He was there with me at the doctor's appointments, at the hospital. I can't even fathom being in the hospital by myself having a baby. I just can't. But that just goes to show you that a lot of these women are having children with men who never intended on making her a wife. And then those same women expect those men to, be 100% responsible for her while she has other men's children. Men know it's not a good deal for them to go into another man's family, because that's exactly what these men do when they pick up with a woman that has children by another man. That's another man's family. And these women expect the sun, the moon, the stars, and 100%. So let me go on to my next point. Sometimes a marriage can start off as 50%. And I'm going to go into my next point with this. Men instinctively know that they are supposed to be the provider, even the ones, some of them, who grew up with a single mother, because it's just innately in a man to want to provide for what's his woman, his children. So again, what you have out here a lot of times is women are like, okay, well, my kids are your kids, even if they're not his biologically. But this is what these women tell these men. My kids are wonderful. You should want to love them because they're mine. They're a part of me. That's another man's DNA. So let me go back to my point. Marriages can start off as 50%. I made more money than my husband when we first got married. And then about 3 years into our marriage, he was making so much more than me that I could have went part-time. Matter of fact, he told me I could go part-time. But I ended up not going part-time because I had been taking care of myself since I was 14. And if you follow my channel, you know I never knew my father. And on I've done videos on that before, of the fatherlessness, Black women and fatherlessness and stuff. So you might start off as 50-50 within your marriage. But then what's going to happen if you pick the good man and you start having babies, you're going to be incapacitated for a few months. So that man is going to know, okay, I got to step up my game. It's just in them to do this. I got to step up my game, and I'm going to go get a second job. I'm going to work overtime, this, that, and the other, to make sure that my wife and my baby is taken care of. And that's the whole point that a lot of women out here are missing. They're not wives, but they're expecting wife treatment. There's this one woman, and allegedly she be joking, it's on Facebook, and she posted a meme that she went out with a simp. Her words, not mine. She went out with a simp because she wanted to take her children to the fair and she couldn't afford it. So she used this man to get him to pay for her and her children to go to the fair. And then she dumped him soon afterwards. And then some women are like, well, why aren't men trying to help me with my children? But it's because of women like that. Now, she's allegedly joking, but I bet you she's not. So this is why even men have to be careful with the women that they're choosing, because a lot of women, they don't even want to be wives. They just want a man's resources and nothing more. And so eventually I plan to do maybe a live on women when they talk about leadership. And I've done videos on that, and I actually have one that's coming up, but I'm going to discuss it again as a live. So another thing, a lot of women want to start off at the top. And what I mean by that is, okay, there could be several variations to this. She can either have her education, or she can be a single mother, and she wants the man who did all the things that he was supposed to do to get to where he is in life. He might not have children out there, or if he does, he might be a divorcee, or he might have maybe one kid out there, but he's been responsible ever since. So now he's in the top percentage of decent men. He's making, let's say, 75 or more a year. He might own his own house or apartment, whatever. He's been responsible. And boom, Quisha was 7 children by 7 different men living on Section 8. She wants to jump over all the Pookies and the Ray Rays that is her ideal men to get to what, let's call him decent guy Derek. And because decent guy Derek, it was like, pump your brakes, lady. I'm not trying to deal with you and your offspring from Glocktavius. Shout out to whoever came up with that, because I think it's funny. I've never used it on my channel. So my first time using Glocktavius. So this is why you're getting all of these complaints from women talking about Black men are the only men that want women to go 50-50. But that's because y'all have everything out of whack. You got the horse before the cart. You're doing everything out of pocket. And when I suggest become a wife, then get married. I mean, become a wife, then then be a mother. That's what I'm trying to say. And this one woman, and full disclosure, I don't think she was Black, that responded to me when I said this. She was like, and what guarantees you once you become a wife? And I said to her, if I got to explain it, if you don't know the benefits of being a wife, then nothing I can tell you is going to convince you. So I'm not wasting my time. So years ago, when I used to be online, because this ain't my first rodeo. I've been talking like this for years. Even when I was a teenager, I did a paper on, I'm going off on tangent, promiscuity when I was like 17 years old. So you're looking at like maybe 1986 or so. I did a paper on that. So I've been talking this way my whole life, And so I used to tell women on this one website that I used to frequent, and they're still around. I said, all of the women I know who were married first, every last single one of them that was a wife first and then had children, don't have the complaints that y'all have about these men. Not a one. Not even kind of a one. So again, a lot of these women, they want the wife benefits without being wife minded or a wife. And this is why these topics keep coming up. And let's see. And I think I just segued into my last point. Marriage offers more benefits than shacking up, than being a baby mama, and why women can't or won't understand this is beyond me. So let me read some comments from Miss Mona D. Women are wives before the ring, wedding, and nuptials. Yeah. And my husband is a blue collar man and kept me at home for many years when our children were babies and toddlers. That's most of the Black women I know. So it's like, how is it that some of us understand this, but the other Black women don't understand this? And not only don't understand it, but they be ready to fight you when you even suggest it, you know? So I think I'm going to go ahead and wind down my very first live. And as far as I know, I can post it, you know, as a regular video, but I plan to do more lives. I have to admit, I was a little bit nervous leading up to this, a little bit nervous during this, and I didn't see any some other familiar faces, but it might be a time thing. And so eventually I'm going to find my time to, the time that works best for me, because right now I do work full time and mornings are out of the question, and late night is probably out of the question for a lot of people as well. So that was my topic today as far as the 50-50. So let me put it in a nutshell. Women are not wives, but they want the wife perk. Men innately know to take care of their wives and children. They know this. Notice I said men with their wives, not his baby mama. And that's another problem with our community. As I did another video before, I said, look at it like this. You had Tina, and I think that's the name that I use. You had Tina that's got 3 kids by 3 different men. Then those 3 different men have children by 3 different women. And then those women have 3 children by 3 different men. Okay, so how do you find a wife and a husband and all of that? And like some of these male content creators say, and they're not even, I think one of them, he might be a twice baby daddy himself, but I do enjoy his content. I'm not going to call him out, but one man in particular who's never been a baby daddy, he's been married for half his life and has a child with his wife. He said men are always going to have access to the woman that he has children with. And what I mean by that is, we know, even though women be saying that it's not like that, but we know they're lying. There's one of those baby daddies that she still be tossing those legs up for. So that's another thing. Why should a man come in and do 100% bills or whatever for that woman? Because a lot of men are finding themselves, when they choose to pick up the slack of another man, he finds out that she only wanted his money and maybe his eggplant occasionally, but her heart still belonged to Gloctavius. And this is why there are a lot of issues here with this 50-50. And I'm so tired of hearing women, saying that Black men don't want to go 50-50 when y'all aren't putting yourselves in positions to be more than just a 50-50 woman. And it's okay to start off at 50-50 as a wife. Like I said, because that man, particularly once you start having his children, he's going to step in to maybe make it 100%. And let me say that I'm so glad I thought about this before I close out. So then you have, some women who they don't want to go 50-50 with the man, but they would rather do everything 100% themselves. So let's say you as the woman make 40 a year and you meet a nice guy. I mean, he treats you like the queen that you say that you are, and he makes 50 a year. Okay, so that's an income of 90 a year before taxes, or after tax, before taxes. So you can build on that. A lot of women want the finish line. When I often tell young women, you get married and then you build your life with him. You build your life with your husband. And then that way you can end up in a cul-de-sac in suburbia with your 2.5 children, in a decent school. And, you're at what's that, PA meetings or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. A lot of women have a Section 8 mindset, but they want a mini mansion outcome, if you catch my drift. They have the children with the irresponsible men because she was irresponsible, or she has the children with men who was never planning on being anything beyond just a booty call, a hit it and quit it. Back then we used to say Netflix and chill. Women created this dynamic. Women created it. And then you have women like myself trying to warn you and tell you this is not what you want. You want to be a wife. I keep stressing wife. I've been saying that for years. Be a wife first. Don't have your kids and then expect a knight in shining armor to come along. It happens, but it throws the dynamic off. That's why we're having this 50-50 talk. A man that made you a wife, you don't have any children by any other men, he made you his wife, you had his children, you're more apt to get that 100% out of him. But y'all don't want to go down that route. Y'all want to have children with Poopnug, shout out to Messy Michonne and Glocktavius, and you're still either enamored with those men or sleeping with those men, but then you expect Mr. Nice Guy to come in and save you. That's why we're having this discussion. So I'm going to look to see if I have any more comments, and I'm going to wrap this up. But I want to give a special shout out again to Mona D. Sorry if I don't see any other names here, but I appreciate you for joining in, and I plan to do some more in the future, and I will talk to you later. Bye.